Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast. We are 7-5, feeling alive, ready to jive with the New York Giants. But first, let's say what's up to Eric and let's say what's up to Brian. How you doing, fellas?
Doing well. How are you?
I am 2 games above 500 good. That's how good I'm doing. So I'm
Brian's almost in a giving mood. That's how good he is. Almost.
Yeah, if you're a Commanders fan, you're 2 games over 500 heading into December. You're doing absolutely fantastic.
Feeling good.
It's been a while.
But travel back in time. Yeah.
Yes, as always, we need to pay the bills. Eric, I'm going to get your theme music going. Why don't you go ahead and kick the knowledge about our partner, DraftKings?
All right, friends, the wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is officially live in Maryland. Now you can legally bet on all your favorite sports with DraftKings anytime and anywhere right in Maryland. I would say right here, but I'm in Virginia, but right over by Brian. Go over to Brian's house, make some bets. For a limited time, new customers can sign up with the promo code CDP11 and receive $200 in free bets instantly. And you can do all kinds of good stuff. DraftKings has the best features, including same-game parlays. You can parlay, Taylor Heinicke YOLO balls with John Ridgway power bombs. Do all you want to do. You got unlimited player props. You've got fast and easy payouts, and it's all right at your fingertips. DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go for all my sports betting needs. And right now, you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code CDP11. Get yourself $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on anything. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CDP11. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Maryland. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus issued as free bets. See DraftKings.com/MD for full terms and conditions.
Yeah, smooth as butter. Nice job, sir.
I'm learning how to do my job.
Next week we'll need you to do that as Bone Thugs and Harmony. For your thing. You gotta bet everybody.
Yeah.
It's the first thing.
Yeah. It'd be the 5th of the month.
All right,
remember those. Yeah.
New York Giants. Eric, first impressions about this game against the Giants. What are they?
We got this. I'm not worried about the Giants this week. You know what? I'm always the one that's kind of hesitant and kind of tentative in these games, and this could come back to bite me. But I feel all right about this game. The Giants haven't been playing well as of late. Daniel Jones is still effective, but he can't carry a team by himself. And Saquon Barkley has cooled off tremendously over the past few weeks. He was off to like that MVP level start, and he's really not been doing much. He's been held in check, and I think that bodes well for our defense because our defense is playing at the top of its game. Now, our offense still scares me a little bit, but the Giants' D is a little banged up right now, or a lot banged up, and it doesn't look like they're going to be better by the weekend. So I think 19 points may be enough to get the job done this week if the defense can kind of hold its own. So I'm actually feeling good about this week. I think we can be Giant killers this week.
I love it.
I like the confidence. Brian, do you concur with Eric's brazen confidence about the matchup this week?
I do. I'm feeling that brazen confidence because this Giants team has, just like Eric said, they've all cooled off. And if you look at them, they have a similar formula to what we've been doing, right? They try to limit the attempts by their quarterback. They try to run the football, and they try to play good defense. And that's kind of how they started out the year. We're starting to see some cracks there. They're starting to fade here as we get later into the season. But this is a team, again, much like the Falcons last week, they're beatable. This is not a undefeated Eagles team. This is not a Vikings team with one loss or anything like that. This is a very beatable team that is struggling. And we have the absolute ability to go in there and beat them down and move on about our day. And that's what we need to do. We can't let them gain any confidence or think that they can keep up with us. If we do that, we're going to be in for a long, long fight. But I think we absolutely have within our power to go ahead and put these guys away.
Wow. If you're listening or watching, first of all, subscribe. Second of all, holy crap, you hear my guys here? They're talking about we're just going to go to New York and lay the whooping to the New York Giants. We'll get scores and all that later. But Eric, I want you to start us out with 3 ways to win and 3 ways to lose.
All right, here's how I'm a negative guy. I always start out with 3 ways to lose. First way we lose is to get Saquon. We let Saquon have a Saquon Barkley-like game against us, which he has done on many occasions. We can't let that dude run wild. He has cooled off quite a bit, but he is still a stellar talent in this league and has the ability to just take anything to the house if he sees a glimmer of daylight. So we can't let that happen. We have to limit Saquon's effectiveness. So, second way we lose is we let Daniel Jones run. We let him get his legs going. His legs carry this offense, very similar to what Mariota was doing last week. I actually think Jones may be hard to believe, but maybe a little bit better of a passer than Mariota. So we can't struggle. But if Daniel Jones gets his legs under him and is able to get some runs, he can open up that offense, and that is not going to bode well for our team. And the other way we lose is we actually let Daniel Jones beat us with his arm. He isn't a very good passer. But if we limit his legs, but he still can make throws, he is capable of getting hot. He's done it against this team several times in his career. Daniel Jones, if he played us every week in the past couple of years, would probably have been a Pro Bowler a couple times. We can't let him get hot in the passing game. He's a very streaky passer, but if we limit his legs and he has a regular Daniel Jones type game, I think we'll be all right. Now, as far as how do we win? Well, we stick to our formula. First of all, we run the ball. We limit Taylor Heinicke's pass attempts, and we play solid defense. That's really all 3 ways we win right there. Another key for our defense would be just make sure that Daniel Jones, if he's going to beat you, he's got to beat you with his arm. Put it on him. It's the weakest part of his game. He's, like I said before, very streaky passer, but you can't trust him to, if you make Daniel Jones throw it 40 times, you're probably going to win. He's just not that great of a quarterback. Now, he'll probably come out and throw for 350 against us just because I said that, but I'm going to stick with the odds. And that's my 3 ways to win, 3 ways to lose. Play our game. That's what it all boils down to.
That's a must. Now, Saquon Barkley has only rushed under 70 yards in a game twice this year, and he's gone over 150 yards 3 times this year. He is going to get his. He's going to go over 1,000 yards this week. He only needs 8 yards to do that. But there's a lot of other opportunities that we have to get around these Giants. Brian, talk to me about how you think the Giants defense will play us this week.
Yeah, so the Giants defense has probably been their best unit so far this season. It has really kept them in games and has given them the ability to get this 7 games that they've won so far. They're a solid group. They don't have anybody who's spectacular, but they've got some players and they're very disciplined. So I think it starts with their defensive line. They've got a couple of guys on there that football fans, Commanders fans will know. Leonard Williams, if anybody remembers him, he was a defensive tackle at USC a few years ago when we drafted Brandon Sheriff. A lot of people, local media fans, wanted Leonard Williams instead. Leonard Williams has only made 1 Pro Bowl in his career, and he's only been over double-digit sacks once in his career. So he is not that impressive of a defensive lineman. This year so far, he only has 1.5 sacks. So he hasn't really been doing a whole lot. The guy that we really need to worry about is Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is a young defensive tackle, nose tackle. He is an enormous man. He is 6'4", 342 pounds. He is like 2 people sewn together. He is so big. But he's not just a big, slow guy either. He's got 5 sacks already. For a nose tackle type guy, that's a lot of sacks. And he's also, even more importantly, he's got 18 quarterback hits. For a nose tackle, that is an incredible amount. That's a number you see from like defensive ends and outside linebackers who are rushing the passer. So we need to be very cognizant of where he is, which he should be lining up over Tyler Larson. He's going to have a tough day ahead of him. We're going to probably need to have some double teams to take care of him because he's probably their best player on the defensive line, maybe on their defense as well too. But we've got to pay attention to him. You move up to the linebacker level. They've got a couple of guys there that are okay, but really probably the big name is their first-round rookie, Kayvon Thibodeau, outside linebacker. He's going to be the one that they try to move all over the field, get the right mashup. so they can rush the passer and put some pressure on Heinicke. He got off to a little bit of a slow start this year. He had some injuries. I think he started to play better of late, but right now he's only got a sack. He's got 21 tackles total and about 8 quarterback hits. But again, that's only in about 9 games. So he got a little bit of a late start, but he is extremely talented. He's big, he's physical, and he's fast. So we haven't been very good with rookie pass rushers this year. So we definitely need to make sure we know where he's lining up and either run at him or run away from him. We can't leave him unblocked or anything like that. You get into their secondary, they've got some decent players, but nobody exceptional. We're not talking about Jair Alexander of the Green Bay Packers or anything like that. They've got a Dory Jackson who's out there, who's a punt returner cornerback in Tennessee for a very long time, ordinary player, somebody that Terry McLaurin should have his way with pretty easily. And then a guy that all Commanders fans should know, Fabian Monroe. Is still around. He's still in the league, and he's having a decent year for himself. He's out there as well. So their 2 safeties, Julian Love, Dane Belton, nobody of note that we need to be overly concerned with. But again, as I said at the beginning, these guys are all disciplined. They're not going to try to freelance. They're not going to try to do their own thing. They adhere to their scheme, which is the reason why they've been as good as they are. But in terms of our offense matching up with them, we should be able to match up with what they do if we kind of take note of some of those guys. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, if we pay them attention, and like Eric said, we play our game, we possess the football, we run it down their throat, we should be okay.
Absolutely. Just looking at some advanced stats on Daniel Jones, he's played in 11 games this season, I believe it is.
Yep.
I want you to, how many big time throws do you think that he's made this year, according to PFF? If you had to guess, guys.
I'm going to say probably not a lot, because I have a list of his pass attempts in front of me, and they've really tried to limit some of his pass attempts.
Yeah, it's 3. The answer is 3 in 11 games.
Look at me.
Yeah. The guy.
I bet he has 3 this week, though, because he's playing us.
Yeah. Of course. But when you talk about a mirror match for Taylor Heinicke when it comes to throwing the football, this is that guy. He's Taylor Heinicke throwing the football. Now, he's a better runner than Taylor Heinicke is out of the backfield. But Taylor Heinicke has 3 big time throws on the year as well. Now, turnover worthy plays. Taylor Heinicke has 12. Obviously, he's played in fewer games than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has 14 turnover worthy plays this year. So the 2 things that he's doing is he's not throwing the ball a lot. He's not taking chances on his throws, but he's also not doing a horrible job of protecting the football. He's not great because he does have, I believe, 6 picks on the year to 10 touchdowns. So his touchdown interception ratio is not all of that, but 4 interceptions. I'm sorry. So if you multiply that twice, that's 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, over a full season. So that's not bad at all for a conservative offense. So he does do a good job of protecting the football. In the run game, though, I think, to me, we said last week about Mariota, and I think Mariota, Heinicke, and Daniel Jones really all do live in the same realm, if you will. Some of them outpace the others in certain areas by a minor margin, but nothing dramatic. Daniel Jones is absolutely in that territory, but he's of the 3, he's the best runner, and I think it's not close. Passing the football, I would say that Daniel Jones is slightly better than Mariota, who I would say is probably slightly better than Taylor Heinicke throwing the football, but not by much.
I don't think he is. Yeah.
You don't agree with that? Okay. Well,
I'm not saying Taylor's great, but Mariota's
Mariota's bad, but Mariota, okay. We can argue about Mariota versus Heinicke.
We can argue.
But I would take Daniel Jones out of any of those 3 when it comes to just throwing.
Taylor's got that moxie, though. He's got both of them being on the swag.
He does have the moxie. This is not intended to hate on Taylor Heinicke. I'm just trying to give you a comparison when it comes to his quarterback play. Now, the key for this, for me, is what does Saquon and Daniel Jones do as a collective package when it comes to running the football? Are they going to do the zone reads? Are they going to do the keepers? Daniel Jones has historically killed us on quarterback keepers. It's going to happen this weekend. Yeah. The Giants watched the film from the Falcons game and said, holy crap, we know how to run against this team now, right? Because the Falcons sort of laid that blueprint. I think that Saquon Barkley is probably licking his chops about how to get after our our defensive line and our linebackers in the run game. So my best guess is Barkley probably has one of his better games. He's not going to go for $150. That's not going to happen. But I think he is highly productive. It's about how can you limit Daniel Jones in his effectiveness in the run game. Now, in terms of how we attack them, Eric, put on your Scott Turner hat for me here and talk to us about how, if you were Scott Turner, how you would approach this game.
A bunch of reverses. Can I take
Seven
off my Scott Turner hat now?
You can take it off
That
now,
drops
please.
reverses. Okay, yeah. No, I mean, this is a team that very similar to Atlanta in that we can play our game against this team. They give up 150 yards a game on the ground, and we want to run the ball. So I think that's a match made in heaven. That's a really good matchup. They've been getting gashed the past couple of weeks. The past 2 weeks, they've given up over 160 both weeks. And they've had games where they gave up 200 yards, I think, to the Ravens, like almost 200 to the Cowboys the first time around. It's not a great run defense. And again, I don't know. Our offense isn't built around explosive plays in the run game, but this can look very similar. The game plan should be very similar to how we played Atlanta last week. Just keep the chains moving, run the ball as much as possible, and trust Heinicke to make throws when he has to, which, so far he's done with a few exceptions. So that's how I'm attacking him. I'm just going to keep on pounding. This might be another Brian Robinson type game, but I think Antonio Gibson, seeing what Tony Pollard did to him a couple of weeks ago or last week, I guess. This team can give up some big plays, and I think Antonio Gibson's speed could be a factor this week as well. So I would like to see him a little bit more involved in the running game and in the passing game, mainly because he's on my fantasy team. But I would absolutely expect to see a lot of running and probably no more than 25 passes from Heinicke, unless, things go south and we have to throw it a bunch. But I don't see that happening this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. Last week we said Brian Robinson. I think that this is a big game for Gibson, but in a short passing game, screen passes, lateral throws at the line of scrimmage, little routes underneath. I think he can have a huge impact. The Giants recently played the Cowboys, and Ezekiel Elliott went off for 92 yards and a touchdown. Tony Pollard, 60 yards. CeeDee Lamb killed them last week. 6 catches, 106 yards. Michael Gallup, 5 catches, 63 yards. Ferguson, 3 catches, 57 yards. Schultz, 4 catches, 31 yards.
Killed them.
Yeah. The opportunities are there. They are there. But you got to pass the football a little bit. I mean, you have to make yourself two-dimensional. We have been extremely one-dimensional lately, and we have benefited because the other teams that we played haven't been able to put up points. Speaking of the Falcons and the Texans, you're going to have to be a little bit more dynamic this week. Not a lot, but a little bit more dynamic to beat the Giants. So I think Scott Turner really needs to do his homework on how we approach that.
Ellie, with what you were saying that the tape is out there of what the Falcons did in terms of running the football. The tape is out there what what Taylor Heinicke did with that interception of trying to go deep over the middle. You had mentioned on the post game that Taylor's interceptions always seem to kind of come deep over the middle. And that's something we can use to our advantage. Everybody knows Terry McLaurin's our number one guy. We're going to go throw to him. This may be a game, like you were mentioning about Gibson having some passes here, is send Terry deep down the middle, right? Because if you look on that interception last week that Heinicke threw over the middle, I want to say it was Curtis Samuel and Brian Robinson are standing in the middle of the field by themselves, look like 10 yards in front of them on that play. Yeah. And that would be a great place to hit Gibson right over the middle in a little 5-yard check down that he can turn into, a 25, 30-yard gain. So I think you're right. It'll be a lot of running, and I think the underneath stuff will be big this week, and we need Taylor to kind of rein it back in and hit that underneath stuff, and not worry about so much of that deep stuff. Let Terry pull that coverage further downfield, and then hit these guys in the middle, whether it's Jahan, Gibson, whoever. Let's eat up some of those yards after catch.
Absolutely. Looking at Daniel Jones and where he's effective passing the football, in that 0 to 10 yard range, he's really good. I mean, you would hope he is. Not all quarterbacks are, though. especially to the left of the hashes there. He's 25 of 26, 280 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Over the middle within 10 yards, he's 66 of 83, 582 yards, 1 touchdown. And to the right within 10 yards, he's 28 of 42, 226, and 1 touchdown. Then you start getting 10 to 20 yards down the field on the right, 9 of 18, 138 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Not supremely effective within 10 to 20 yards on the right side. In the middle of the field, 27 of 44, 444 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Again, not great 10 to 20 yards down the field. On the left side, 10 to 20 yards, 5 of 10, 98 yards, 1 interception. Daniel Jones cannot throw the football between 10 and 20 yards. It doesn't work. It's going to generate a turnover. Again, the comparisons to Taylor Heinicke are there. Going deep, over 20-yard throws, outside right, 3 of 7, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Between the numbers, over 20 yards, 2 of 4, 40 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Outside left, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 1 of 4, 65 yards. AKA, this dude is making his money on 0 to 10-yard passes. That's where he is going to hurt you if he's going to hurt you at all. So, Jamin Davis, we got a ball this week, right? David or John Bostic, when he's in the game and he's got to cover a tight end or back out of the backfield, we got to go this week. So I think our secondary could effectively take this week off, to be perfectly honest with you. They're just not that dangerous going down the field, but I really think it's going to challenge our linebackers in the pass game. And a lot of those passes go to Saquon Barkley out of the backfield. So just something to consider there. Eric, give me your predictions. I want to score. I want to know who wins and by how much.
My prediction, my channel Clubber Lang, pain. No, I do. I feel confident about this week. Now, I'm fully aware that this team tends to forget how to play football when they enter the Meadowlands historically. But I think this week, this is a week that they can come out and they can play really well and come out of there with an impressive win. And I think that's going to happen. Now, by impressive win, I don't mean blowout, because this team doesn't blow anybody out. But I'm going to say this team plays well enough to win. I'm willing to even predict that we get 3 offensive touchdowns this week. So I'm going to go, 3 offensive touchdowns. Clutch the pearls, Eric. What's going on? So I'm going to say 24 points for us. I'm going to say 24-16. I think we can hold the offense. Daniel Jones, make him throw, cover that short left, and make him beat you throwing right or deep, and see if he can do it. So I'll go 24 Commanders, and I'm gonna stick with it. This is probably, and I don't know if this is a good thing, this is probably the most confident I have been all season in this team getting a win. So we're gonna see how things shake out, but I'm feeling good about this week. 24-16. Commanders.
Love
it. Just beaming confidence.
I don't know what's going on with me.
I know.
I had some bad chicken or something.
Brian, give me the same prediction, scores. How does it turn out?
Prediction is this is going to be a convincing win. The game that we were supposed to lose was last week, right? We were already 1 game above 500. Usually we take 1 step forward and 3 steps back. Last week was that week. Falcons should have blown us out. That didn't happen. We beat them, and we beat them. The score may not have looked that convincing, but we beat them, and I think we take another step this week. This week it is 25-14 Commanders, and I think we dominate from start to finish. I think all the things that we mentioned here. I think the Commanders pick up. And they stop Daniel Jones running. They shut down Saquon. I think Saquon will still have a nice day. I don't think he goes off for like 100 plus. I think he probably has like 85 yards or something like that, just because he's a big guy and it's tough to tackle him in general. He's a good running back. But I think other than that, I don't think they have much success. They don't really have a lot of weapons on the outside. I'm not scared of any receiver that they have. And I think this is another step towards where we want to be ultimately.
I'm gonna start going first with these predictions because I feel weird about this now.
Yeah.
Look, I think that you mentioned the Falcons game, and the Falcons had that game won and then just got really stupid at the end. The offense scored 7 points against the Texans, not including special teams, right? Really 6, not including special teams. There's an issue there, okay? Um, I think the Giants are the best defensive team that we've played in quite a while. Now, it depends on who's healthy and who's not, and we won't really know that till we get a little closer to the game. But I think that we're going to have a real showing on offense. So those 3 touchdowns you're predicting, Eric, would be absolutely necessary. I think that the Giants are still just a little bit better than where we are right now, especially their best playmaker at running back, I think, is enough with some of the issues we have at linebacker to give us real headaches this weekend. I'm going to go Giants 22 and the Commanders are good old-fashioned 19. I think that this is going to be a close game throughout. But I just think that when you have a running back like Saquon, when we need to get the ball back and we're down, like let's say there's 5 minutes left in the game, it's not that easy to stop Saquon from getting a first down to keep the clock going, right? And our mismanagement of timeouts and things like that are going to eventually catch up to us. We've done that in at least 6 games this year where we've had to burn timeouts early, things of that nature. We just seem to have that habit. And we also have a red zone problem where we're not converting touchdowns inside or possessions inside the 10-yard line into touchdowns. That matters against a team like this. It's also a ground and pound team that's going to eat up clock. You got to get the points that are there to get when you need to get them. So I'm going to say Giants 22-19, and we'll reset and we'll see them again in a few weeks. So I think it'll be a good game, though. It's going to be another one of those. The game's going to be over by 3:57 in the afternoon. They were just clock churners. Okay. So don't turn away from your television too quickly. You might miss a whole quarter with how this one's going to go. But it's going to be old school NFC East, black and blue, run the football, pound the football, and let's see what happens. But I got the Giants taking this one. Eric, final thoughts?
You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
I hope so.
Giants. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The Giants are usually the team that I usually pencil in as a loss. I just think the trajectory of both teams right now is just going opposite directions, and the Commanders are playing better. So Heinicke still scares me. He's going to throw one terrible pass at least every game. Probably will commit a turnover off of it. The defense will give up one big play. I'm sure they will, but I think we can withstand this week. And then we'll reassess at the bye week how wrong I was probably. But I think this week, no, I do. I feel good about this game, and I look forward to being 3 games above 500 potentially come Monday. So can't wait to see it.
Big time ball is 3 games over 500. Are you kidding me? That's big time.
Yep.
Brian, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Brian Daboll, I think, is a very good coach. He recognized right before the season started that Daniel Jones is not a franchise quarterback. They denied his 5th-year option because they recognize he's not a franchise quarterback, and he's limited his passing attempts in every game, so he can't hurt the team. So no, I think if this was the same football team for the Commanders at the beginning of the season, I think the Giants probably take us. But, much like Eric has said, I think, the confidence with this team has taken off. And I think that, Heinicke, for all his faults, he beat the Giants twice last year. So he will not lack for short of confidence. He's going to be extremely confident going into this game. That may be his detriment, right? And that may be his downfall because he's too confident. But it feels very much like momentum is on our side, and it's not on the side of the Giants this time. And I look to be 3 games above 500 with a big hat. I don't know where I'm going to get a big hat from, but I want one of those big Brian Robinson hats. Did you guys see that?
He's got a guy, man. Hit him up. I'm sure he'll put you onto his big hat guy.
That thing was so absurd. I kept thinking of Spaceballs in Lord Helmet.
Absolutely. You brought up that Giants game last year. The first Giants game for Heinicke was probably like a signature game for him. He was money in that game.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't always been like the best quarterback, but on that game, I mean, that was a really strong win for him. I think that was his first win as a starter, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe second. It was right after the Falcons game. I can't remember which order it was, but I mean, that was a really like, wow, this guy might be able to cut it in this league type game. And he's still way up and down. He's, I still don't think he's the future, but maybe he's got the Giants number. We'll see tomorrow or this weekend.
Yeah, Daniel Jones went off in that game. He had like a 60-yard,
100 yards of rushing. Yeah,
and we were still able to overcome it. So I think they have the confidence. Hopefully, they can execute it.
I am trying to go back to remember this mythical game of yours from last year.
Dude, he threw that dime to J.D. McKissick in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah,
and then had the game winner at the end.
That's the game that he threw the pick on what should have been the final drive, right? To James Bradbury.
No,
yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave that in the past because you guys, nope, we're not going down this path. He did make a fantastic throw to McKissick.
RG3 ain't walking through that door, Ellie. Embrace Heinicke.
He had a good pass for Ricky Seals-Jones that game too, I believe.
That was for the touchdown.
He had several. Yeah, that was the game winner, I think.
Yeah,
he had several just fantastic, really good throws in that game. But again, he's Heinicke. He's going to make one bonehead throw every game. You're just going to have to deal with it. Yeah. I mean, you say the same thing about Daniel Jones. I guarantee it's the same thing with him.
Yeah.
All right.
And guess what? Daniel Jones was a first-round pick. Heinicke was undrafted. Advantage Commanders.
I'm not arguing anything about quarterbacks. That's my golden rule from now to the end of the season. I'm going
to make sure you break that rule every week.
Just want to point out, Brian, Heinicke didn't beat the Giants. The Washington football team beat the Giants as a collective. That is my pet peeve, but
I guarantee if they lost, you'd say he lost it. Heinicke lost.
I wouldn't. We lost. The team lost. Our podcast lost. Daniel Jones goes over 100 yards rushing this week, though. I think that's very realistic. Marcus Mariota was chewing us up.
Yeah.
They just stopped doing it.
They adjusted. James Smith-Williams was getting murdered on those read options. He adjusted. Okay. They played it well. And Montez was having having none of that when they tried it on his side. And you potentially could see Chase for a few plays this week, and we'll see how that works out. No, I don't think Daniel Jones goes for 100 yards rushing this week. I think they can bottle him up.
Is it just me, or is anybody else enjoying these end-of-game bonehead decisions that the other team is making? Like Arthur Smith throwing the ball down on the goal line, like all of these other teams that we're beating, they're making those dumb decisions, and it's not us. Like
Arthur Smith, watched that 2013 Super Bowl and was like, "Yeah, don't give it to Marshawn."
Exactly. I'm like, as long as it's not us, if they're doing it, works for me.
I think our defense is starting to develop the Tiger Woods effect, where you're in the box with him on 16, and you're like, they're gonna shut me out. I got to do something, and then you just hit a drive right into the water. I think teams are doing that now. Otherwise, I can't explain it. I
like that.
I can't explain it. Some of the stupidity that we're seeing, but should be a close game though. Either way, I am very happy with what our defense is doing. And Heinicke is protecting the football. Took no sacks last week. That was absolutely massive. 0. The Giants are averaging about 2 sacks a game. Let's see if we can keep that up. There's a lot of small details that could determine the outcome of this game this week. So I'm looking forward to it, fellas. Everybody, if you're listening, subscribe, tell a friend, send them the link, dang it. Do something. Make sure they know about us so that they can subscribe too. Otherwise, let's go have a good game on Sunday versus the Giants. Let's come back in the post game talking about a win. I got some Giants fans hitting me up about doing a pregame. We'll see about that, depending on what I feel like. I'm lazy, in case you didn't know. But we'll see if we can put that together. Otherwise, man, this is going to be a fun one if you like running the football. We are out of here. Eric, Brian, thanks for your magic as always. You guys have your own Heinicke magic. And you know what? Always a pleasure, my friends. And we'll see you Sunday.
Big Hat Sunday.